All right, guys, on this episode of H&K Gaming Experience, we've got Hollywood's and Kleerfyre's top 10 games played of 2017, and we've got two good bits of news for you coming out of H&K Gaming Experience, so stay tuned with us and listen for more. Alright, what's up, guys? This is Kleerfyre with H&K Video Game Experience with HolliwoodKole as always.
Yep.
Today we're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're actually going to give you each one of our top 10 games played of 2017. So we hope you enjoy it. We're going to have a little fun with that and finish out the year with a nice top 10. Each one of us has got listed out our top 10s, and we hope you enjoy hearing that. But first, we're going to start you out with a little bit of news. The first bit of news is actually a little happy for us. We've actually hit 2,000 downloads, or I'm sorry, not 2,000, 200 downloads on our podcast. I know for some people it doesn't seem like much, but for us that's a big achievement because that's a milestone for us moving on. We wanted to make sure we hit that before the end of the year, and we did that. So, that's good for us. And hopefully more of y'all will start listening and enjoy the podcast with us as we do this too. And the other big bit, I'm actually going to let Hollywood announce this. This is an announcement we've gotten going on, so I'm going to throw it over to Hollywood real quick.
Cool. Yeah, first of all, appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys are really enjoying this. Look forward to continuing to grow and provide you guys better content and better contests. So our very first contest that we have going on now is up for grabs is the Super NES Mini. They are still hard to get, believe it or not. It took me about a month to find this one. You can get them online for they retail for about $80, which you're still going to pay at $125, and they are still selling on eBay. I've heard a lot of rumors that they're not, but they are. Go look at the completed listings. There's not one that did not sell that I've seen. So anyway, we actually have one, and I think it's a perfect item to give away to all the listeners, since anybody can play it. You don't have to have a particular system. You literally just hook it up to your TV. It's HD. It's 21 games like Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy VI for your RPG fans. You got Star Fox, you got Mario, Donkey Kong Country, Super Metroid. It actually has Star Fox 2, which is unreleased. It's a completed game, unreleased for that console there. And I'm just looking on the back. Super Mario Kart, Mega Man X, Castlevania 4, and even Earthbound. $250 for that game if you bought the hard copy for that. Street Fighter 2, Super Punch Out. So the list goes on and on. But it's all in glorious HD. So it's not like just playing it on your composite TV sets. It's actually in HD. It actually has save states involved with it. You can save your place in all these different games. I've actually personally used that for Castlevania 4. I really liked that game because of the save stakes. Oh, it's also got Zelda on it, so don't for all you Zelda fans out there, a link to the past. So anybody can pick it up and play it, relive those days. It's a great thing to have. I found one as well for myself a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed it. My son's enjoyed it. He's 5 years old, and he's really liked it. Anyway, we want to give that away to you guys. So what we have decided to do is just basically, depending on how active you are with us, is what we will as to your entries, basically. So I've spelled it out, posted it on the Facebook page, but I'll let you know again. So if you subscribe to Podbean, the Podbean app, you will get 10 points, or 10 entries. And I just went online to and for you too, Clear, just went on iTunes and subscribe just to see if we get a notification, and we do not. So if you subscribe on iTunes, I can't know that. I don't know if we'll notice that or not. So I did put that in Facebook, but I do not know if we'll get a notification that you subscribed on iTunes. So just to be safe, go to Podbean, subscribe. All that's going to do is tell you when there's a new download. It'll have a little notification pop up on your phone and say, hey, there's a new podcast that's out. Anyway, you'll get 10 entries for that. Okay. Oh, so 10 entries there. That's the big one.
Hang on 1 second. And 2, guys, there's a Podbean app, so you can download it on your phone. It's both iTunes and Android, so you can get that and just go from there.
It's
that way
Apple and Android.
Yeah, so you'll have that app on your phone. You can do it that way, so that way it'll help you ease you out to get to Podbean, and that'll give us a direct link to y'all as well. And we'd like to get you to get hits there on Podbean. You know, we'd like to support our company that's helping push our podcast out.
Yeah, I've downloaded the app. It's very easy to use. I enjoy it.
Super
I listen
easy.
to it on the way to work sometimes. But anyway, so that's the big one. That's how you get the most is 10 entries. And it's almost just, you can only do that once, of course. And just don't worry about it. It'll have your email. So even if it doesn't have your name who subscribed, it'll just have your email. And so if that is one of the entries that is pulled up from the random generator, then we would just email that email, get your name and address or whatever we need, wherever you want us to send it. So we're putting all this in Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so 10 entries for the Podbean app. The next big one, 5 entries for liking the Facebook page. So if you like the Facebook page, you'll get 5 entries. People that have already liked it, you are automatically entered into it. I've gone through and already updated that. For each post that we post, if you like it, you get an entry. If you comment on it, you get an entry. That's it, though. You can comment on it 5 times. You're only going to get 1 entry. But that is per post. So we're posting 3 or 4 a day. So that's 8 right there at least. But you can also share it and get 3. So if you share it, you get 3. So if we post 3 or 4 things, you share each one. Say we post 4. You share each one and like and comment on each one. That is, let's do math in public. That's 12 for sharing. Plus 8, that's 20 entries right there a day.
You basically can get 4 entries per post for each share and like on each post. So,
Well, no, so I just said you share 3, like 1, and comment 1. So that's 5 per post.
That's right, 5. I'm sorry, 5 per
You're
post.
confusing everybody. So 5 per post. And so if we post 3 or 4 a day, you can get up to 20 a day if we post more, whatever. So that's all you got to do. I know some people have gone on there already and just liked, just went down the laundry list and liked. But anyway, that's going on until March 1st. After March 1st, we're going to cut it off, tally it up. If we've got behind on it, we're going to make sure everybody gets counted for. And then we're just going to do a random number generator. It's going to pop up, and whatever number it lands on, I'm going to look at the Excel line, or whatever's on there, that's who's going to get it. And I'm going to contact that person and see if they want it, if they don't mind giving us their name, where we want to send it, or whatever. If they say, no, I'm not interested, we'll go to the next one, or so on and so forth. But I will say this, if you do get it, we're going to ask you if you will just at least release your name and state. So it's not going to be anything that's, personal information revealed, but like, Kate from Arizona. It'll say something like that. And we would like to announce that on the air, and we'll also put it on the Facebook so everybody knows who got it.
Exactly. And guys, please, if you're going to do anything to participate in this contest, man, share these posts. That's what I'd really like to see, is see you sharing these posts. That would be great, because that's going to help us too. So go out and share our posts. Comment, like them. That's great too. But come on, give us some shares. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see how many you can share.
Yeah, and it's kind of set up that way to where, obviously the more subscribers that we have, even though it really doesn't do anything for the subscriber other than just tell them when it's downloaded. And I think you can make it automatically download to your phone. I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
But that gives us credibility. The likes on the page gives us credibility, and so on and so forth. The shares, it's all kind of goes down to the tier. And if you like and comment, more people have seen. We've posted, if Facebook's new algorithm thing, if you got a page, that you can have. I got another page I have that's 300 and something likes, and you'll post something, you might get 2 views, 3 views. Mm-hmm. Because if nobody likes it or comments on it, so this just gets it out there more. But that's kind of how that's set up. And hopefully, this is the SNES Mini. And we really want to get to a time to where maybe we'll give away a Nintendo Switch with a couple games, that kind of stuff. We're going to keep building this up.
Yeah.
This is a hobby for us, so, I don't mind putting something out there like that. Mm-hmm. It's great.
You help us get big. You never know. We might go find one of the special edition PlayStations and put it up. Special edition Xbox. You never know. But without listeners and without viewers, we can't do this. So guys, come on. Jump in. Let's grow this, and let's make it more fun for not only for us but for y'all too.
All right, so I'm just going to reiterate what Kleer said real quick. So what we're going to do today, top 10, each of the games that we have played in 2017. Okay, so a lot of people right now are doing top 10 games of 2017. We are not doing that. Okay, so not a lot of people want to come in here and see if there are games on the list. But most of my list is games that came out in 2017, but this is games that we've played in 2017. It's 2017, so they didn't necessarily come out in 2017. But we want to share these games with you guys, what we've played this year, what we've really enjoyed, and hopefully you'll have some hidden gems in there that you have not yet discovered, and you can enjoy them like we have.
Yeah, less than half my list is actually games that did not come out in 2017. So
most of yours is 2017?
Most of mine is not 2017, yeah. Okay. I played a lot of games that, I hadn't been playing for a while, decided to pop them back in and things like that. So,
all right, so speaking of the mini, I'll go ahead and drop a little bit of news here since we're kind of skosh on the news today.
Yeah, let's
not a lot going on, but Sega, there's a lot of rumblings going on out there. We just talked about the Super NES Mini, so just in case you don't know, there's a NES Mini as well. That's about $50 out there. That's also hard to find. It's actually harder to find than the SNES Mini. Not as good, if you ask me. It's got more games, some black box games on there, like Icebreaker and whatnot. But
it was Nintendo's first shot at doing this, and they made a limited run of it. They didn't mass produce it. They said that they were going to fix that with the SNES Mini, and you can see that in how many that have come out. But they're still extremely hard to get, even though that they've pushed more through the assembly line this time than they did last time with the NES. Yeah,
the problem is scalpers buy them up and they try to resell them. And
exactly.
People that have waited in lines for midnight releases and whatnot, YouTubers and this kind of stuff, they all say the same thing, that everybody in line is saying stuff like, oh, I'm going to sell mine on Amazon, or I'm going to sell them on eBay, or I'm just going to sell them on Craigslist. I'm going to make this much money on them. And if you go to this site, you can buy them available here. They're all buying them to resell them, and it's really sad. Nintendo needs to. I do have a funny thing that's people put these scripts in their computer to where when a website pops up, it'll automatically buy it once they become available. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so Walmart, this is for the NES Mini, it was $50. They said, oops, we made a typo and actually made it $500. Some dude went on there and bought like 10 of them, like $5,000. Wait, I didn't mean to. Like, what do you mean you did it 10 times? You have a script, dude. So it kind of caught him in his own game. I'm sure they probably refunded him, but at least he was scared for a little bit. So that was always a nice thing. Justice in the world there. But anyway, so speaking of the minis, there's rumblings that Sega is going to release a mini system as well, all the way up to the Dreamcast, which the Dreamcast is, we could do a whole podcast on that. It'll be great. The Dreamcast is a great system, but it failed, obviously, Sega's last console, but they're saying they're going to release that. Now, Sega already has some mini version kind of, which is actually, they'll have, we have 100 games on there, which, 15 or 20 of them, and I'm just some small amount are actually Sega games, Comic Zone, Altered Beast, Golden Axe, but then the rest are like puzzle games or something stupid you'd play on your phone back in 2002. And so it's 109 games, but it's not all Sega games. But the good thing is they do have a cartridge slot on the top of it where you can play it. So that's actually a good deal, and I believe it's $40.
They're around about $40.
So 6-button controller. It's a pretty good deal. And I've heard said on my very first podcast, I got one Sega game, Shadowrun, that just sits there in the case, but I couldn't turn it down because I love the game so much. But I've always every time I go to Target or something, I see one, I'm like, it'd be fun to play Shadowrun for a little bit, but I just can't bring myself to buy one. But anyway, they do have that. Atari's actually releasing one as well. Third party, not actually Atari, but it is an Atari Mini with X amount of games on it. Nobody knows how many yet, but it's actually looks wood grain, so it's kind of cool.
It looks good if you're in for the nostalgia like we are. I mean, it's definitely a cool looking system. It's basically the size of the NES or SNES minis as well, but it's got the old school style controller with it and everything too, so you kind of get the whole nostalgia of an Atari 2600, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. I love that they're doing this, and I'm telling you now, like me and Kleer both own the original SNES, and like even we talked about before, I own the game. A majority of the games that are on the Super Nintendo Mini. But there's just something about it, man. Something about the box. It's just an official Nintendo release. Just looking at the back of the box. I'm looking at it right now. You can see me looking off to the side. I'm just staring at it because it's just all the original logos are on there for the games. And just looking at the back of the back of the box with all the games on it. Again, it's an HD, save states. It's all in one thing to turn it on. It's got 2 controllers. The NES Mini just had one. But my son loves it. He said, "I'm so glad you bought this." Playing Mario. Me and him would play Mario World or something like that. And but he, just brought it home one day, and so he really liked it. But it really is a great system. It's one of my favorite ones. But anyway, yeah, you guys will have a lot of fun with that. Whoever wins that. If you don't win it, encourage you to go check it out anyway. And you'll really like it. Even if you do own the system, it's just something a little bit different. Because all I can get is S-Video on my TV from that Super NES.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as good a quality. It's just something different played in HD.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all the news that I got. So what did you got?
Well, the other little bit of news is loot crates are coming back in the news again. Belgium has actually ruled and said that loot crates are gambling, and they're in the process of making some laws. So with Belgium doing this in over there in being a European country or European state, they're going to probably actually start making the swing to help other places in Europe look at it as gambling. They say that you're spending money to get a random something, and you might not get what you want, and just all of that makes it gambling. Kind of like this. It's the same thing we've been saying over and over about loot crates. It's gambling, especially when you have to buy them and put money into it. So Belgium is pushing to have those laws made. The other little bit of news that we have too is not much, but PUBG. I know a lot of y'all probably have heard of the game. It's pretty popular right now. They actually had a advertisement go out. Xbox put this advertisement out for them, and they actually had to get it called back for hits of plagiarism on some of the artwork they had in the commercial. I haven't dug deep into seeing what parts they were claiming as plagiarized, but they actually pulled the commercial off. So that's a little bit of news that's really going on. Nothing just big or massive right now.
So what happened to PUBG? They had some plagiarism. What do you mean? There's something in the ad?
Xbox put out an advertisement that had some artwork that was supposedly plagiarized from either another game or another artist that they did not license out. Like I said, I don't know which parts were what they're claiming as being plagiarized, but Xbox quickly pulled down the ad. So it is definitely a real deal hit, and if that is the case, then PUBG is going to take a hit that I don't think they should be taking, because one, it's actually, from what I hear from everybody, it's a pretty fun game to play, and two, it hasn't expanded yet outside of Microsoft. It's only on PC and Xbox, and they're really wanting to push for the PS4, for it to go on the PS4. And with this plagiarism bit, that might hurt them in that situation, because PlayStation 4 is a little more strict on their content and how it goes on their system. So that could it could create a little trouble for them down the road. Hopefully they get it fixed, get it worked out. Hopefully it was just a mistake on somebody's part. Like I said, I don't know all the details. It's just something I saw in a news headline coming by.
Well, I got to respect Microsoft for they're really pushing their systems now, and just with PUBG or whatever, trying to get some exclusive content. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, it's in in a lot of ads. You don't see as many for PlayStation, or I don't. I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but PlayStation is just dominating still. Yep. As far as system selling, but Xbox is not going down quietly into the night by any means. Just listening to the Halo 3, or talking about the Halo 3 podcast that we did last time, really got me thinking, like, if there is a cheap Xbox, I would love to go back and play Halo 3 and Halo 2 online. Oh, well, funny. That would be so much fun.
It's funny that you say that, because actually during Christmas, if you had $189, you could have gotten an Xbox One S.
Really?
They had it down to $189.99 at GameStop.
Oh wow, and that would be very, very tempting. I mean, how many systems can I have? I mean, that's the problem.
Exactly.
What do I even need? I actually went back and played Dragon Warrior 2 of all things after the Dragon Warrior podcast, and I just started playing that one. I'm kind of hooked on that now on the retro USB, but it's a lot of fun. But I mean, so playing that, playing Metal Gear, playing, you were talking about going into Fortnite. And playing that, and like, oh my gosh, I'm just spread so thin over games. And if you spread yourself too thin, it kind of gets, you're not really into any of them,
Exactly, it's not as fun.
Yeah, so if I'd rather just have one. If I was going to get an Xbox One, I'd probably end up selling one of the systems and all its games just to try to cut back on a lot of that stuff because it's fun to have, but I mean, what are you actually going to play? I mean, we get to play like 2 hours a day max,
There's not any exclusive that other than PUBG, and it's not going to be. It's only a timed exclusive. It's not a full-time exclusive.
Yeah.
So right now, only PUBG is the only thing that really interests me into getting an Xbox, with the exception of that Xbox One S and an Xbox One X both have 4K Blu-ray players in them. So that's the only things that interest me in it, and I can buy a 4K Blu-ray player now for around $100-$120. So
the Pro doesn't have it in there? I thought the Pro was 4K. Oh wow, not Blu-ray.
Yeah, Pro is 4K. It just doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player in it. So if I go buy a 4K Blu-ray DVD of, let's say, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I can't stick it in the PS4 and play it. I could stick it in the Xbox One S or the One X and play it, but that's not a big deal. That's something that PS4 got knocked on, their PS4 Pro, when they put it out. That's something they got knocked on. But honestly, it doesn't bother me anyway, because really I don't use the PS4 Pro for watching movies or anything like that. I use it for gaming. So I mean, to me, it's not a big issue.
Yeah, but PlayStation is known. PlayStation 1 came out, you had a CD player with it. PlayStation 2, you had a DVD player. So everybody, that's a lot of people's first, including mine, first DVD player. Then you had the PS3 for, was it, did
Blu-ray.
They have Blu-ray? Oh, they did?
Yeah, the PS3 was a lot of people's first Blu-ray players because it was the first system with a Blu-ray player in it. Because Xbox 360 came with they did the HD DVD, which they had a separate drive for it, So that they kind of had that, that's kind of what PlayStation was known for, and then they kind of stepped away from that whenever they put out the PS4 Pro. Now there are rumblings when the PS5 comes out, it'll have a 4K player, but I mean by then it'll be a widely adopted format at that point. Right now, 4K Blu-rays aren't a huge, widely adopted thing. I mean, it's growing, and it's growing quickly, but it's not, Blu-rays are the thing right now. I mean, if you have a Blu-ray player, you have with a PlayStation 4 Pro, you have a Blu-ray, it's going to upscale it to 4K anyway. So, I mean, it's not anything that's just a huge miss, in my opinion. So,
and you got to have a 4K TV. That's what a lot of people don't even know.
Yeah, and those are just now starting to get to where they're starting to get, more. People are starting to be able to afford them now. When you can find a 40-inch 4K TV with UHD in it for $300, then you're starting to get into that level where everybody can reach it. So,
yeah, I still got a 720, and it looks very good. It still
most of them do.
You can't tell it's a 46-inch maybe.
Yeah. Most of the time it's like that anyway. For me, the only time I can tell a difference is I can take my glasses off and I actually can see my TV. I'm blind as a bat, and I can actually kind of see my 4K TV. Now, with my 720p TV, I can't see it at all with my glasses off. So it's one of those things where it just it improves visuals, and for people with bad eyesight, it can help out. So.
All right, cool. So, you want to go ahead and jump into the top 10?
Let's jump into these top 10s.
All right, you want to go first or me?
I will go ahead and pop you with my first one. And this is going to be a great one, I think. My top 10, my number 10 of my top 10, and I put it on here for one specific reason. And as soon as I say it, you'll know the reason why. I put Destiny 2.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason why I put it as number 10, the only reason why it's on my list, number 10, is because it was part of the reason why we started the podcast. You know, Destiny 1 was ending, Destiny 2 was coming out, so it's actually integral, and it was it involved some of our first podcasts and things like that. So that's why D2 holds a special place on this top 10. And I did play it, and I still do play it, albeit I don't play it as much as I need to or I should, but it's there. Overall, it's a okay game. You know, go out and play it if you haven't. I still recommend to play it. You know, don't expect anything spectacular. I feel bad about bringing our buddy Revelation into it, and he capped out in less than a week, and he's like, this is it.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of sad that Destiny's like that. So, my number 10 on my top 10 is going to be Destiny 2.
All right, cool. Yeah, we've talked about Destiny for a long time. Yeah, I do not. I just posted. Did you see that video I posted on Facebook?
I did.
That was really good.
It was a good
Bungie,
video.
How good they used to be and all this. And it's just a totally different game. And actually, Marty O'Donnell and somebody else, some old school, I think it was a Bungie employee, they actually broke off and started a new company. And I cannot remember the name of that company, man, to save my life. But it was, I'm just thinking out loud here, and I'm stalling out. I'll try to look it up before we get done. If not, I'll mention it on the next podcast or on Facebook. But they started a new one, so I was wondering if they would ever. The point is, I just thought, is Bungie going to eventually, since they're all getting fired or whatever, going to start anew? And so I hope they do, and I hope they do
a good chance.
Some good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one you've probably never played, and this is for the Wii U, and I heard some good things about it, and I actually bought it, and I played it all the way through. It's called the Steam World Dig Collection for the Wii U. So a lot of people, you're going to find a little trend. Now I just noticed this for me. I love these exploration games where you have to build your character up and then you can access new areas and stuff like that. But that's all this is. You're just digging in. It's like a real steampunk robotic deal, and you kind of just go in this old western town as a robot. It's not set in the old west, but it's just kind of the scenario. And you start digging, and then you dig deeper, find jewels to buy better, more lamp fuel so you can see for longer. You buy rope, ladders, a better pickaxe so you can dig for better jewels, and so on. So you just keep building, and then you fight a boss at the end. Whole game doesn't take a whole lot of time. These are simple games. I do like this. It's kind of an indie game, I think. The collection has another one on there. I didn't play the other one. I played SteamWorld Dig, and you could get it for free on PS4. At one point you could, and I think I did get that one, but I never played it until I got it on the Wii U. Because it's not super rare, but a lot of Wii U games are going to be real cheap right now, especially since the Switch is out. Yep. So I try to pick them up when I see them. And I really enjoyed that when me and my son were watching me play that one. So that's my number 10, SteamWorld Dig Collection for the Wii U. Again, did not come out in 2017, but it was one of the big ones I played in 2017.
All right, I guess we're going to roll to our to our number 9s then. Yeah, I definitely haven't played that game, and I don't own a Wii U, so I didn't get to play.
It's not exclusive to the Wii U, but that collection one maybe. Mm-hmm. But you can get it on PS4, and I do recommend that one. That's a fun one. It probably takes, you could play it in a weekend, and it's probably $3 or something.
Yeah. Well, in the vein of indie games, my number 9 is an indie as well. One of my indies that I like and that I've played several times is actually Fez.
Oh no, I didn't think that one.
So you're this little character that has basically the best thing I can describe him as is a little bitty white character with a Shriner red hat on.
And he says I have a Shriner hat on,
and so he looks like a little Shriner. It's pretty cool. So it's got a little interesting story. You're trying to collect these shards. I can't remember all of it because I played it very early in 17. I play it usually whenever I'm waiting on other games and other people to come on. But it's a game that you can run through. It's a pretty short game as well. But you're going through and collecting shards. But what's interesting about this game is it's a flat scroller, but it's 3-dimensional at the same time. Mm-hmm. So when you go to a certain area, you basically press one of your trigger buttons, and it rotates the screen. It rotates what you're on, either left or right. So basically, you can rotate and spin it around. So it's kind of a puzzle for you to get up to the places to find these little pieces of a gem that you're trying to collect. So it's really neat. It's a really fun little game. It's a fun little game to jump around. I mean, once again, it's another one of those games you can beat probably in a day. Probably just take a couple hours to beat it. I never tried to beat it. I just always was trying to figure out different places I could crawl into and everything. It's really neat. You have different little worlds that you go to and everything. So, really interesting game. Check it out. It's an indie game. It's on PS4. You might can get it on Xbox now. You might can get it on PS3. You might can get it on PS Vita. I hadn't checked all of those yet, but it's a fun little game. It's probably going to cost you $5 or so to get it. You know, cheap, fun little game just to pass some time when you need to. And that one's called Fez. F-E-Z. Fez.
Yeah, that's that game. And I'm looking right now, and let me just make sure before I say the name of it. Yeah, it's got to be So there's actually the guy that created that game, Phil Fish, and so there's actually a movie out. It's very good. I loved it. My wife does not like video games, but she watched this movie with me and we enjoyed it. It's called Indie Game. And it follows the guys that made Super Meat Boy, Fez, Braid, which is another phenomenal game, Braid.
Yeah.
And so the guy, like, kind of went nuts. I guess he just couldn't take people, like, criticizing his game and stuff. I mean, he's like him and one other guy, like, made the game.
Yeah, Phil Fish is a wild character. You got to read about him. He's very eccentric, so...
Yeah, so every time you say Fez, that's exactly what I think about. And it is a unique game. It's a perspective game, just like you said, kind of where you change the camera, it changes the whole your whole tactic or strategy to how to complete that stage. And I played that for a minute, but I just think of that movie and think of that dude kind of going nuts about it. He's like, I'm done. That's what you guys get for picking on me. I'm done doing this. It's like, man, dude, you're a public figure, man. You're going to have to take some heat. It's just what you do. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, it was for a while. It was a top indie game and everything, and it was definitely a game that did not come out in 2017. I think it came out in like 2015, maybe, because I think it was one of the first. It was one of the first PS4 free games I got, or very early on. I mean, I loved playing it. It was a fun game to play when I first played it. I beat it pretty quick, and then I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go back and play it again while I wait on stuff, because it's just fun jumping around things, trying to discover little secrets, because there's little secrets in it and all that. Nothing major, but you know, it's just a fun little game to waste a couple hours on if you got a couple hours just to blow.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we'll keep it in the indie realm. This is I only have a handful of indies on here. I think I got one more after this one.
Yeah, I only had 2 indies, so that's one of my 2.
So, The Mummy Demastered. All right, this game is definitely a hidden gem.
I need to get it. I haven't done it yet.
It's 9 out of 10 on Steam, 7 out of 10 on GameSpot, 75% on Metacritic, and I can guarantee I know what the criticisms are. But this is just a Metroidvania game. That's what it is. A Metroidvania, again, like I said, you kind of traverse through a maze. You have to shoot. You're shooting stuff up. It's a 2D side-scroller type of deal, or a 2D environment. I guess it's not a side-scroller, but open 2D world, and you can, you can't go through a door, so you got to go find grenades to blow it up. You upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. Any way you want to do it. Find health to get more health. Armor, whatever, different abilities, just like Metroid. The criticism probably comes from that it only takes, if you know what you're doing, you can finish it in 4 hours. So,
oh gosh!
But if you know what you're doing, if you know what you're doing. It took me a weekend, and I actually platinumed that one on PlayStation. So what that means is that I got all the trophies, and so I'm basically trying PlayStation's way to say he mastered the game. And so I only do that for games that I really enjoy. So I had to go back and play it again. One of the trophies is you cannot die at all. And some of the bosses they're easy once you understand their patterns, but I think there's like 4 or 5 bosses, but that came out in 2017, October 2017. So that is a 2017 game. I actually heard about it from Metal Jesus Rock's YouTube, and he had a hidden gem video, or his was what is he playing? Kind of what we're doing right now, as a matter of fact, and that's where I heard about it. And it's like on sale, as a matter of fact, for like $5, and I was like, dude, I got to tear it up. Got on there, and I enjoyed it right away. I didn't turn it off until I finished it. So that's my number 9, and I really like that one. That was a 2017 game.
All right, so my number 8, some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is number 8 on your list? Why is it so low? It's only low for one reason, and that's going to be Assassin's Creed Origins. And the only reason why it's low on my list is because I haven't got to play much of it. I started playing, I picked it up for Christmas, or actually Black Friday sales, I got it. And so I got to get a good deal on it. So I haven't really got the chance to play much of it, but what I've played of it, love it. It's a beautiful game. It has great controls, just fantastic story so far. Really enjoy it. Really enjoy leveling up the character. Just really, really great concept. I mean, it's my first Assassin's Creed game to actually sit down and try to play. So it's my introduction into the whole Assassin's Creed franchise, and I'm really considering buying the Enzo collection. Basically, it's got like 3 or 4 Assassin's Creed games with it for like $30. So I might end up going out and buying that after play if I get a chance to get all the way through this, which I will. But I was telling Hollywood one time, I was playing this game, and one of my favorite things was just riding on the back of my camel, just shooting animals, with my bow and arrow. Just going wild like that. I spent like 30 minutes hunting animals on the back of my camel, with my bow and arrow, just shooting them. I had a blast doing that. And it's just fun because it's an open world game. You can get lost in doing things like that. I didn't realize I'd been doing that for that long, and so definitely go out check out Assassin's Creed Origins. It's got a great story. It's centered around the Egyptian time, so you can do like that. One of the trophies is you meet Cleopatra, so I'm waiting to meet Cleopatra right now to get one of my trophies. So I'm gonna try to get. I don't know if I'll platinum that game, but I'm gonna try to get as far into it as I can.
You bring up a good point, though, man. I mean, you really do, and it's somebody like me that, I don't know. I never got into Assassin's Creeds because it's just open world, and there's to some point you're kind of like, am I missing something? Am I missing this item? Am I missing whatever? But get on a camel and go shoot some animals. Like that's the whole point. You just got on there and just like, let me just have fun with it. And a lot of times, I don't, I'm kind of, it's almost like a part-time job. Like, I got to do these side quests before I can continue the main story, and so you kind of miss the mark there.
Yeah. Just
have fun with it. But,
I went swimming, in the game, because you can swim with the character. I went diving with them and found a sunken ship, that was just the fun part of it. Just finding random stuff that have in the game like that, so.
And so, I got to what killed me on Assassin's Creed. I played the first one for a minute. I didn't really like it that much. But again, you're in a simulator and all this. It's just so weird. I don't know why. I mean, maybe later on they explain it. But and then I got Black Flags. Okay, it's gonna be about pirates and stuff, and it's gonna set sail and all this. I played it it didn't even really have a big tutorial. Right when I started it, it's kind of like, oh, you got Black Flags, so you've probably played Assassin's Creed, so you know what to do. So I just kind of run around. I kept getting caught. I really didn't know what to do, but I had bought that one at Best Buy, a used version at Best Buy, and at one point, it's loaded me into the sim, and I don't remember it really well, but you're running around in the simulator. It's like you're in a computer world, like on Tron or something, while you're waiting for your game to load, but it's like a glitch that it never loads, and some games were just messed up or something, so I'm like, oh, great. So somebody turned it into Best Buy like that, apparently, but I had to take that back, and I was just going to be happy with it. Just give me my money back. I don't even want the game. So I had to redo it. I got my money back, but I had to exchange it. So I just had to exchange the game for that one. I tried to play it again. Couldn't do it. Sold it on eBay, but I've just kind of given up on the Assassin's Creed. It's just not my flavor, but it's kind of like you said. That's what kind of hit me when you're talking about just riding on camels and stuff. It's kind of like, just enjoy the games. It's fun. Just do fun stuff on it.
It's fantastic. It's a game with fantastic graphics. The animations in there are great. I mean, you run. If you go touch fire, you burn yourself. It's a great reaction to the different things going on in the environment. It's really neat. So I really enjoyed doing that.
Speaking of that, brings me to my number 8: reactions in the environment and physics and all this. One of the greatest games ever released. This is what I've been playing, which everybody's going to have played it probably, is Grand Theft Auto 5. That's still stuck with me. And this game, I hadn't even finished the campaign. I'm too busy on multiplayer racing and wrecking folks. And then just me and Rev will get on there and ride around and get in your car, souping it up, and just all the events. They support their game, Rockstar. We've kind of talked about this through all the podcasts. I won't belabor it. But give people value and they'll come back. That's the secret. Destiny. That's the secret. Bungie and Activision, EA. But Rockstar's doing it. And I'm going to make a prediction right here. And I have no basis on it, really. I know COD, one of the CODs, the best-selling, made like $7 million in its opening weekend or the first month or something like that. $700 million. But I'm going to make a prediction, and I hope this comes true. GTA 6 will be the first billion-dollar video game because they have taken such care of their... and may even reach that in the first month because they have taken such good care of their...
Big call there.
Okay, well, the $700 million for Call of Duty.
That's true.
$700 million. All right, so that's 20 million people. All it takes is 20 million people, $50, $60 a game. So GTA 5 is so... I've heard of people... One guy told me he didn't play video games. He had a girlfriend that he was just started dating or whatever, and GTA 5 came out. She's like, I'm gonna see you in like 2 months. And just just close yourself off to play this game. But the point is, they take care of. They're still doing events. They're still adding to it. They're giving free content, doing all this stuff, and taking care of that game. So in GTA, and that came out in like 2013. Yeah. So that game is 4 years old, and they're still dealing with it. So you got Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out. I'm super excited about that. But then GTA 6 comes out. I think it's going to be a billion-dollar seller because they gave people value for GTA 5.
Yeah. And Rockstar does a great game. They make a great game. They're not the absolute best in graphics, but man, they make a fun game. They have that fun factor that we all love. You got to have fun factor to keep on playing the game. And replayability. That's another big deal.
And a lot of the graphic stuff it already takes forever to load up. And so just imagine that city completely graphicsed out to the best of it. It would never load. It would be
It'd take forever,
slow.
Yeah. I mean, the environments that they have there are always so massive. I mean, at sometimes when you look at a map, it doesn't feel that large. But when you get in there and play it, and you realize that not only do you have the streets and all that, you have the interior of buildings and all that. I mean, there's a lot that goes into games like that. So
cool. So yeah, that's my number 8 of my top 10 that I've been playing this year.
All right. Hollywood, we're going to flip it up a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and throw your number 7?
All right, my 7. Great game, man. I'm just looking at it. This is a game that you didn't hear a whole lot about. And I can't remember if this came out in 2017 or not. If it didn't, it came out at the end of 2016. Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. So it's just a Final Fantasy XII for PS2, remastered, remade. Not remade, but just revamped for HD graphics and stuff. I actually won it at Dave & Buster's. And man, I have enjoyed that game. They redid the job system on there. A massive story game, so you really want to sit down and when you got time to play it, which we hardly ever do, just sit down and really just dive into those stories. So it's kind of, I've turned it on the other day and it's like, I just don't want to get into this story. I just turn it off and kill it on Call of Duty or something. But but I've put in probably 30 hours already into this game. But I plan on eventually, same way I do Final Fantasy X, is platinum it, but I haven't touched Final Fantasy X HD, but I love those games. But I'd never finished 12. That was the first one I didn't finish. And so on PlayStation 2. So I'm looking forward to finishing.
I haven't played 12 yet. That's the only Final Fantasy I haven't played yet. I need to go back and play it, and I think I'm gonna pick up the Zodiac Age.
Yeah,
I see it on sale fairly often.
It's like $40 or something. Yeah. And it's a real political story, but the voice acting and the reactions and the situations, if you don't know the big picture story, the little scenarios are still interesting. So I enjoy the story of it.
Yeah.
So that's my 7, man. That's a pretty good one, I think. Love that game.
My 7 is actually going to be one that's near and dear to both me and Hollywood and some of our other gaming buddies. Borderlands 2.
Yes, indeed.
So the only reason why it's number 7 is because I've had to play it by myself since I've had it on PS4 through the Handsome Collection. If I had my boys running with me, it would be a different story. But Borderlands 2 is a fantastic game. If you want to play a game that's a run and gun and shooter game that's ridiculous on some of the bad guys you fight. Oh, it's humor. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's a great game. A great little story to it. My favorite part of Borderlands 2 was Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon's Keep. It's one of their DLCs.
Yeah, it's good.
And God, that was so
I'm
hilarious.
just smiling right now thinking about all this game.
Tiny Tina is hilarious. I can't go into detail on some of the stuff she says because she is the foul mouth character of the game. But everything that she does in that, basically, that whole DLC is a D&D style DLC. So basically, the premise is she is the dungeon master with all the characters from Borderlands 2 playing the game, and you get to be the character in the Dungeons and Dragons game. So they're rolling dice, you hear them in the background talking and everything. It's hilarious. It just makes for a funny DLC, and it just was a fun one. That was actually their best DLC that came out. There's a character, I can't name its name. I'm going to keep it because I want to keep it clean here for us. But it's
the
hilarious.
Psycho guy?
No.
Okay.
Stallion. I'll just call it Stallion. You know, if you've played it, then you know what I'm talking about.
It's a DLC?
So, yeah. This is off of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep.
Okay.
One of the characters
it's been a while
in
since
it.
I played it. We played it on Xbox 360.
So it's hilarious. Yeah, and I played it on 360 with Hollywood. That's where we all played it. And when the Handsome Collection came out, I bought it. I've played it here and there. I pick it up and play it every once in a while. There's a couple of guys from our clan that plays it. I played it with them a little bit, but we really didn't get back into it. It just wasn't the same without having Hollywood there by my side running through there. So
I'll just wait till Borderlands 3 comes out.
Borderlands 3 comes out.
We're all playing together.
We're gonna tear it up. Don't worry. I'll be that one. I will definitely. I know how much you are against pre-ordering. I'm gonna pre-order the mess out of that one.
Pre-order it though. I'm that far.
I'm gonna pre-order that one. That's
Gearbox is a good company, but don't give them any fuel to charge paywall crap.
Gearbox is great. They haven't put any paywalls in their Borderlands series, so that's good. And hopefully they'll keep it that way.
Actually, just played that the other day on the Vita for the first time. It's harder to control on the Vita.
It's so much harder on the Vita.
But I just bought it out. So anyway. So, another indie for me on my number 6 is a game called Neon Chrome. And this game is definitely one you should play. Let me pull up here and see what it got scored on, if it scored anything good. I think it should. Yep, 9 out of 10 on Steam, 4.6 out of 5 on Google Play, only 67% on Metacritic. Not sure about it, but you'll know why I like this one because it's similar to Shadowrun in a way, the Sega Shadowrun. So if you say Shadowrun to some old school gamers, there's an Super NES version and a Sega version. And if you were an old school Shadowrunner before the video games, then you're going to say the Super NES version was better because it's more RPG-ish. Because it's just a Dungeons and Dragon RPG style. So it's cyberpunk, post-apocalyptic. Neon Chrome, you're a cyborg, and it's a twin-stick shooter, so like Smash TV. You get different weapons, you get grenades, you get whatever, and you're just kind of tearing through top-down office buildings, blowing through walls, dodging traps, picking up money to buy more upgrades. So many different upgrades you can upgrade your guy with. Every time you die, that cyborg is dead. You have to get another one and pick up where you left off. And it's bosses. It's bullets flying everywhere, man. It's just chaos. It's awesome. Explosions. Indie game. And so I spent a lot of nights staying awake. One more floor just to do that, and going to bed late because of that, running the battery out of my Vita. I was playing that on the PlayStation Vita. And so that's really cool. Kind of like we talked about Shadowrun. That's kind of why I probably have a little special place in my heart for that one. But it is a great, fun game. If you like Smash TV, like bullets, fun, explosions, fun everywhere, a lot of action, you'll like it.
So for me, my number 6 is Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And I put this one as my 6, one, because I didn't get to finish it. I hadn't finished it yet, because I've been playing other games and jumped in, and of course Destiny sucked way too much time of my life. I put it there because, one, I love Final Fantasies. They're great games. They're, some of the first games that I have some of the best memories with Hollywood with, and so I definitely had to have Final Fantasy 15 on there. I really enjoyed it. It's the first time that I played a Final Fantasy with an active battle system like this, where the characters were actually, moving around attacking everything instead of doing the turn-based. So it was the first time for me to do that whole active-based style, and At first, I didn't like it, but as I played it more and more, I realized, hey, this is actually a pretty good way to fight. You actually still do have control over your other characters to some extent. You're calling out to them to do teamwork and things like that. So it's a lot of fun, really interesting story as far as I got into it. I didn't get really very far into it because, once again, it's another open world thing, and I started going all over the place chasing stuff around. Going into places I don't need to be going into and things like that. I kind of enjoyed the riding around in the car, stopping. Hey, look, there's something over there. Let me go check this out. Jump out with my with the team and go see what's going on and fight everything and try to take on stuff. So I had a lot of fun doing like that and just playing around and just traveling around. So
that was a 2016 game for me. That's when I finished it.
Yeah, it came out in what? It came out in 16, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's like September of 16 or something.
Yeah. So I mean, it came out in 16. A lot of people did. A lot of people I know finished it as soon as they got it. But it's a game that I definitely played in 17 and had fun and played with it. And as you can see so far on my list, I only got one game. Well, two games actually that came out in 17. But definitely Final Fantasy 15, fun game, a lot of fun. If you haven't played it yet, go play it.
So that's an interesting game, and I'll just bring this up for a second because all of the Final Fantasies, particularly 6, is my favorite because of the characterization, all the different characters and how they interact and blah, blah, their stories. They all got a backstory. You all can go find it. So the story is essentially what I'm getting at here. So Final Fantasy 15, first of all, the gameplay is great, like you said. The magic, the systems, I even like the summons, the way they do all that. Everything they do, I think they did it really well. It's 10 years in the making. But the story is very confusing because they have a movie out called Kingsglaive that you're supposed to watch before you play it. I have no idea how to watch it. So you don't have to, but yeah, you do.
You kind of should.
and they're trying to do just like everybody else. There's no I don't know if there's microtransactions. There's nothing. If it is, it's not glaring because I don't remember any of them.
There's no microtransactions in it.
Okay, but they have DLC. So here's the thing. You're running with 4 dudes: Gladio, Ignis, and Prompto.
And Noctis is the guy.
And Noctis is the main character. So at some point, like Gladio runs off, comes back. You don't know what happened to him. He won't tell you. So guess what? There's your DLC. What happened to Gladius? There you go. And then Prompto, similar thing. Ignis, I won't spoil it for you because there's a big ending there. But it's a time that you don't know what happened. Something big happened to Ignis, but again, there's your DLC. So you're adding all these little DLC side stories into a story that's already confusing. You're taking away from the story. So see what I'm saying? In a game, Square that is known for stories, so it's kind of backwards. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, in fact, that's in my top, probably my top 5, maybe even 3 of Final Fantasies.
Yeah, it was a great Final Fantasy.
So, and I almost included, that was 2016. I didn't really play it. So, my 5 is no surprise to anybody. Call of Duty World War II. It's this brand new game, came out in November, I think, 2017, and I am not a COD fan. Okay, I've played them all up until probably Black Ops 2. I did get Advanced Warfare on PS4. And I was just like, oh man, jumping around and doing all that. And I did get Black Ops 3, so I have to say I'm not a fan, but I got them all. But I didn't get the other one, Infinite Warfare, I think. They tried to package in the Modern Warfare remastered to make it seem like it sold better. Because they knew they messed up. But anyway, they really brought it back to form with COD World War II. I've played the story. I don't know how far I'm into it. I've finished like 8 missions or something on the campaign. But the multiplayer is where it's at. It's a lot of fun. It's COD. I mean, it doesn't change. It's COD. I mean, you still got the lag kills. You still got some crazy stuff going on. They kept some I like the way they did the classes and how you can do the divisions, and they each got their special abilities and all this, and how you can kind of build a character there. But my favorite thing is, well, I was going to make a joke, but I won't make the joke. I'll just tell you this. They do have loot boxes, and it's not overly glaring. I haven't paid a cent extra, and I'm pretty much maxed out on all the stuff you can get. But one thing they did that is the dumbest thing I don't understand is you get pistol grips. I mean, like, we talked about it last time.
Yeah, we did.
Like, 80% of what you get is like a pistol grip. Like, who cares? Like, I got a hero. So they go, common, rare, legendary, or epic, legendary, what I don't know, but the final one's heroic. And it's like, great, I got a heroic pistol grip. Who cares? Nobody sees it. Nobody, only me. But I understand, okay, put something in there if you need to put something in there. But they made it a huge part of the loot box system, of the reward system. Very strange. But if somebody knows about it, just tell me, email me or something. Someone put in a comment, why is that such a, why did they do that? I have no theories. I need to get on Reddit or something, figure it out. But anyway, that was I'm sure that's a lot of 2017 for people. That's kind of one of their big ones because they did really good with that one.
So my fifth one is definitely a newer 2017 release that came out in October. Battlefront 2.
Yep.
For all the slack that it took off for loot crates, for all the hits that it took on that, it is a fun, fantastic game. I read a review talking about how it's a hidden gem in the fact that it's a great kind of Rogue Squadron game. And they weren't lying. When you get to fly the ships there, you get to fly TIE Fighters, X-Wings. Man, it is a blast flying those. It is a blast doing the flying missions in the campaign. The campaign was really great. Iden Versio is a great new character introduced into Star Wars. She was awesome to play as. She's got a great story. She ends up being a great character. I mean, I'm not going to say what happens because it's a great little story. You need to go out and play it for the story. I've started playing some of the other stuff. They've got an arcade version in there. I've started playing that where basically you pick a character and it's a shoot 'em up trying to, shoot all the characters, clear them in a specific time, and to earn points, to get stuff to open your crates so you can get other things. I've unlocked quite a few characters. It's a really fun game. And the graphics on it, oh my gosh. If you've got a PS4 Pro and you've got a 4K TV, get this game. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's so beautiful. It takes forever to load. But when you get in there, I mean, the graphics are great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I played that one. The multiplayer's a little bit difficult. I mean, it takes some, just like everything else. Everybody's going to get killed at multiplayer at first. You always do because you don't know the maps, you don't know the best guns, and blah blah blah.
Yep.
But then you stick around, you'll start getting better at it. And obviously, if you're getting killed, you're not going to like it. If you're doing the killing, you're going to love it.
Yep.
But the campaign, I played probably 3 hours, 2 hours into it maybe. And it is phenomenal as far as the graphics, the story. I love the main character, like you said. The flying stages are awesome. The only thing I kept thinking about the whole time is like, isn't this like a 5-hour campaign? That's what I kept thinking in my head. So I'm like, don't get too excited because it's going to be over as soon as you really enjoy it. So obviously you can go back and replay it and all this, but
yeah,
it is beautiful. It's fun.
Yeah. It is kind of a short campaign, but what I've also heard too is that they're planning to add more pieces into it. Now, granted, if you're playing it, then you know what's going to happen. Like I said, I don't want to ruin the story to it, but I think they're going to be able to add a little bit more pieces to it through some DLC and everything, maybe from other people's perspectives, which would be pretty cool because there was some really neat, characters in there that's introduced into this new one. And you're really gonna fall in love with the character because she's just got this great story. She's just always, she's always conflicted between doing what she thinks right and what she needs to do for the Empire. So, because she is the Empire, you are playing from this perspective of an Empire person. So you're playing on the bad guys. So that's kind of a neat twist where you're starting out on the bad guy side.
So the 5-hour campaign. So that's when it comes to DLC on single player games, it just throws me off a little bit. Which I'm glad they do it, but let's just say it's $15, and the campaign was $5 or 5 hours, and you get to play another hour. That's hard for me I can't enjoy it when I know it's just like, oh, it's only another hour. But it's like you said, if they do if they'd let you play the entire campaign over and tack on a couple hours at the end from a different character's perspective, that would be a pretty great idea. So I don't know how that.
They very easily can do it from that one because they have at least 2 characters that they can do it from a different perspective, if not more. So
yeah, I like the campaign again. I'm scared it's going to just end. It's too good. I don't want it to end. So
it does. It ends, and then you're like, oh man.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, I guess I'll go play online and get killed.
Just go play the arcade. I love.
Yeah, I don't like the arcade that much. I played it. That's what I did whilst downloading.
Yeah,
and it was. I mean, I played it for a minute. It's just like, yeah, it's not. I don't like survival where it never ends.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I do like survival. I like seeing how far I can go.
Speaking of the downloadable content for single player, this is a big one for me. This game's been out for a while, but it's been. I just kind of picked it back up. They just came out with the collector's edition with all the downloadable content after I paid $50 for it, but it's still worth it. Fallout 4 is, oh man, what a game! I mean, if you like Elder Scrolls and Skyrim, and it's the same makers. I mean, they made all the Fallouts. It's the same thing except for it's Fallout, and again, post-apocalyptic, unlimited levels. So that's the big thing. You can get level as high as you want to go. You can max out everything if you want to just keep doing that. Rare weapon drops. You see elite bad guys that you shoot, and you know that they're going to drop something good for you. And I didn't want it to end, and it ended. So I just said I'm going to have to get all the DLC. So I went ahead and bought all the DLC, serious DLC. I think one's 20 hours tacked on. And there's some of it's better than others, of course. You got the building mechanic in Fallout 4, where you build your bases up and stuff like that. Not really that into that, but you can be very detailed with it. But it is a first-person shooter RPG. And if you don't know what Fallout is, just look it up. I mean, that's going to have... Somebody had to rate that as a... the problem with these type of games, they're the bugs. And there's a few bugs. It'll crash every so often, but nobody complains about it because the game is so massive and so involved, and there's so many different routes you can take. It's almost impossible for them to take every single route and work out every single bug. But you forgive them because it's so massive. And it's, again, these are the games I talk about. Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, $60, and you turn around and spend $60 on Destiny. It takes you 1 week to complete, and with a promise of all this other stuff to get more money out of you than it takes 20 minutes to complete. It's just like, you have these massive games out. How can anybody even play a game that takes that short of time? And I'm not picking on Destiny. I mean, for any game that's like that, we need to demand more from these publishers, demand more from these developers, and give credit where it's due. Witcher 3, Fallout 4, GTA 5 for Rockstar, and I'm sure Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be there. Support these. These are the people that are really putting out games. It's almost like they just actually love it. It's like games being developed by gamers instead of a board member, chairman, black suit and tie, pleasing stockholders and whatnot, shareholders. So, but anyway, I digress. I'll retort. So Fallout 4 is mine, man. Number 4. Fallout 4 for number 4.
All right, my number 4 is once again another game that was not released in 2017. Heck, I don't even remember if it was released in 2016. It might have been a 2015 game. Shadows of Mordor. I don't know if you played that one, Hollywood, or not.
Is that the new? That's the one that was released this year, or the old one?
No, Shadows of War is the one that was released this year. I have it. Okay. I haven't played it yet. I haven't even opened it yet.
Yeah.
So it's sitting in my drawer ready to go. So that'll probably make my list of top 10s for the end of the year this year, so the 2018. But Shadows of Mordor. It's a fantastic game. It introduced a new type of system called the Nemesis system. Let me get that right. And basically what that is you are this ranger that's gotten killed by these orcs, and a ring wraith spirit takes you over and revives you. So now you are part human and part wraith, which is really cool because that's a great awesome concept. And this guy is trying to help you seek revenge on these guys that killed you and your family. So you're trying to seek revenge on these orcs that killed you and your family, and trying to get that all taken care of. what's cool about it is if you're going in, because basically you're right there at Mordor, you're at the wall, you're going in and out of Mordor. It's really awesome, and you're fighting basically the entire orc army at all times. You're trying to sneak around, pop people, pop people, kill them from at different angles, different levels, different heights. I mean, there's an attack where you can jump from way up high and land on top of orc and kill them. It's great, an awesome game. What makes it awesome is the Nemesis battle system, and what that is you kill a guy. Let's say he's a first lieutenant in the orc army. You kill him, another orc takes his place. So there's always people advancing and leveling up. Now, if you get killed by one of the orcs, they level up, and now they remember you. So, like, if you like scarred them, you cut them or whatever in the battle, they reflect that the next time you see them, and they remember you, and they know your attacks at that time frame. So it's a really cool concept that they were able to make the game to where it could basically remember that for that one character, and still have all the other characters going on in the game around it. So really awesome, really cool concept, and Shadows of War takes that the next step, and I can't wait to start playing that game. So my number 4 is Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, I never played that one. It's actually kind of cheap now. I thought about it, but I'll probably get Shadows of War if I do. I just actually talked to Coach the other day, and he's playing Shadows of War, and he said it's probably one of the best games he's ever played.
He's actually playing Shadows of Mordor.
I thought he played the new one. He's playing the new one.
I don't think he started playing the new one yet. He started with Shadows of Mordor to go into Shadows of War.
But anyway, whatever. I remember you mentioned that on the last podcast, so y'all talked about it. But yeah, whatever. So he whatever one it was, he said it's probably one of the best games he's played.
It's a fantastic game. Shadows of Mordor. There's a reason it's my number 4. It's a fantastic game. It's a lot of fun. Getting to learn the new abilities that you can learn. I mean, you get to go back and forth as the spirit or as the hunter or ranger. Ranger in that world, and just it's great. It's a lot of fun to be able to play that game and have those kind of things. I mean, taking control of the orcs and mind control and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. Just a blast to play. All
right, so top 3 now. That was your 4th one, right?
That was my 4th.
Yep. So we're on top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Only one of my top 3 came out in 2017. And I say this, I cannot emphasize this game enough. I love this game, my number 3 game. And that is going to be Doom for PS4.
Oh, wow.
I know, man. You know me. I'm not a Doom fan. I'm not like, I'm just crazy about Doom. I played it a long time ago. On the 32X was my first time to play Doom. Yep. And I loved it, so that shows how serious I am about Doom. So if you're a serious Doom player, you hated the 32X version. But
yep, I definitely hated the 32X version. I loved playing it on the PC.
Yeah, so I'm not a big Doom fan, okay? But man, I think it was ID that did it again. Mm-hmm. They tore it up, man. They modernized it, made it new. It's just straight fun. It is so much fun. I love it because, like, the very beginning, it tells you what kind of game it is. Right when the Marine that you're playing wakes up from his coma on some spaceship or something, like this little computer comes up and goes, "Hey, you're awake. Here's what your situation is." It's going, and it's just giving you the story, and he just like slaps it away. Boom! You don't even need the story. There's no story in a Doom. You just kill, and that's what's so fun about it. Everything is, you don't reload. You get, chain gun. You got like 1,000 rounds. You're just tearing stuff up. And the monsters, once they get certain damage, like when they're about to die, they'll kind of start blinking. And you run up to them and do like a finishing move to them. And it's different depending on where you're aiming. You go from the side, you go from the top, you go from the front, back, low, high. It changes everything, and they're all awesome. And there's different challenges per stage. There's the hidden, they'll hide little dolls and stuff. You got to find all that to get that. I platinumed that one too. I made sure to platinum that one because it was awesome. Another aspect of it is the multiplayer, where you can actually turn into a demon and fly around. A lot of people don't like the multiplayer, and it's because it's actually something, it's really old school because you got to pick up health kits, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. You get hurt, you go pick up a health kit, It's actually just the old school way that everybody used to PC gaming and whatnot. Not that I was a big PC gamer, but it's just kind of the first shoot 'em ups. GoldenEye, all that kind of stuff, which I don't think they had health packs on GoldenEye, but you had health. But it's, I like the multiplayer. I didn't play a whole lot of it. I only had to play so much to get the platinum. I just love the campaign of it. But I just emphasize that. They got it coming out on Switch. They actually got a VR version now. I actually got some VR stuff for Christmas. Man, I can't look at it more than a few seconds. I'm like, I feel like I'm floating around here.
I can't do VR.
It makes me too dizzy. But anyway, it's cheap. I mean, it is awesome. Go play it. I can't emphasize it enough. It's just so much fun. It's straight killing. I need to tell Rev about it.
He would like that one.
Yeah. That's my number 3.
So my number 3 is my other indie game, and it's the one I talk about all the time. So Hollywood will get a good laugh out of this, and it's going to be in my top 3 probably forever until I get bored with it, which I don't see that happening, is Don't Starve.
There it is.
The game is fantastic. I love it, man. I love Don't Starve. It's fun. My little brother had a Vita, and it was sitting in a drawer, and so I was like, hey, dude, can I get your Vita? And he's like, sure. So I got his Vita, and since I'd bought Don't Starve on the console, it actually allowed me to download Don't Starve for my Vita for free. So now I got it mobile. Now I can take it with me and play it wherever I want. And man, it's so much fun. I love it because each time you play it, it's something different. It's never the same thing twice. I mean, the whole premise of it is just don't starve. You gotta find food, you gotta build shelter, you gotta protect yourself, you gotta build weapons, you gotta build tools, you build a farm, you build a house. I mean, it's just so much fun. And then you can go on adventures into little wormholes that will take you to different places in the world. There's holes that you can fall down into and do different levels, and it's so much fun. And I've barely scratched the surface in the game, even though I've played it a lot. I've put a good bit of time into it. And I've got
want to get it, man.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's like $14 for the entire collection. It's just so much fun, man. It's a blast. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a really interesting kind of drawing. It's got, remember the game Paper Mario?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like that, just more in this black and white kind of looking area. It's kind of that grayscale color. It's not all black and white, but it's more of grayscale. Just really cool. A lot of fun. You get to unlock characters the more days you stay alive. And then of course when you die, it calculates up your score and gives you points toward your, next character to unlock. There's quite a few characters to unlock that have special abilities. I mean, it's so much fun. You can get lost in playing it. And I mean, you play it for 5 minutes, you can put it down, pick it back up, and play right back where you were. So my number 3 of my top 10 for the year is Don't Starve.
And so you remember I told you about Destiny. Mm-hmm. And for PlayStation 4, because I remember I bought PlayStation 4 just for Destiny.
Yep.
And I called you up and asked you about, what games do you got? And you're like, oh, I don't have any games. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I just got Don't Starve. I mean, it's like one of the free games when you first got the game to get on PS Plus. First got the system to get on PS Plus, and it's for free, and you got it, and you just never bought another game for a long time until Destiny came out. Yeah, he's like, I love it. So that's funny because I knew that. That's good that it's that far up the list because I knew you loved that game. I knew it was going to be on the list somewhere.
It's my number 3, man. I can't put it any lower than that. It just wouldn't do it justice. Guys, if you're listening, go out and play Don't Starve. It's worth your $10-15 that it's on the Play Store for. Just a lot of fun. It was a number 1 game on Steam on Steam before it hit consoles. It's a hugely popular game. They've got 3 or 4 expansions for it on Steam. They've got one that's came out just recently called Shipwrecked, and I can't wait for that to hit the PS4 because I'm going to jump on that. What is it? Land of Giants or something like that, where there's just large giants walking around is in there. And 2, it just adds different aspects into it. Like the giant expansion part added to where if it's raining in game, if you don't get shelter and build shelter, you get wet, you start freezing, and you can freeze to death. And you can just like die of getting cold. It's just really cool because you got to make sure you keep your stomach full, your health full, and your brain full. You eat the wrong mushroom, you start having you start tripping out. You know, it's awesome because, I mean, it just has these different things. Like, every single thing that you do in the game can affect you negatively or positively. You don't know until you eat it or you try to attack it or whatever, you know. Whatever you do, don't attack a beefalo, I will tell you that. You attack a beefalo, you're going to have a herd of beefalo on you real quick. So, a lot of fun.
A beefalo.
That's what they call it. It basically looks like a buffalo, but they call it a beefalo. So...
All right, cool. So my number 2, this one came out, I think in 2016, maybe even 15, but it was recently the big deal because it was released for free on for PS Plus members, and I picked it up there. Metal Gear Solid 5 of all things.
Yep.
Again, Metal Gear Solid. So I played the very first one. For PlayStation. I played the NES one, but started getting the Metal Gear Solid series seriously and when it came out for PlayStation. If you played that one, then you know that it was pretty story-centric in terms of you're watching a lot of the story.
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid 2, I bought that one as well for PlayStation 2, is even worse. I mean, there's some scenes it seems like it's 45 minutes. You're just watching a scene. So I was done with it. I was like, I can't... You know, Hideo Kojima tells us, and there's actually a lot of story.
He does really great storytelling.
And so go to YouTube and find the Metal Gear Solid story. And it's like 4 series that gives you all the story. But, jeez, you could order a pizza, have it delivered, and eat it before that one scene is over. I mean, it's almost not that far-fetced. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't play 3 until later on PS2, and that was Solid Snake, or Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and that one was fun. I liked that one. They kind of did more action on that one and just enough story. So anyway, I didn't play 4. I didn't play any other ones. I didn't even play the Ground Zero or whatever that came out, even though that downloaded that one too. But 5, wow. They do just enough story. It's an open world. I'm running around Afghanistan right now in the game, and you extract... people. You're building your mother base is kind of a side thing. So you're extracting, you know, you can zoom in on people with your binoculars or whatever to kind of give you their stats on an A through E scale, or actually it's more than A. You get A plus, A double plus, a S, S plus, I think. But in different things like intel, whatever. So you scoop them up, they go to your base, now your intel's better, so now you know where people are, you know when the storm's coming, you know, that's as far as I've gotten into that part. But you can attack it any way you want to. One of the things I really like about it is you can sneak around. It's pretty easy to sneak around. It's not absurd where you're walking, you know, a mile in front of somebody and they're like, oh, there he is. You know, it's pretty good with that. But even if you do get caught, you can just go loud, you know, and tear the base up without any too much of a penalty. You do get graded after every mission. A or whatever S. I think I made a B is like the highest I've gotten because I'll just go, you know, I'll try to sneak around until I get bored, or I'm just kind of like, I don't really feel like, you know, I'll just shoot somebody in the head and they'll see, you know, a dead body or whatever. Just all the different scenarios that take place, and you'll see a common theme with all the great games is that no matter every time you play it, something different can happen. You know, and so that's what makes it so fun. It's kind of like an RPG in that way, where you can take whatever weapons you want, upgrade them, so on and so forth. But that is one I've actually played, and I'm looking forward to playing that when I get done with this podcast, as a matter of fact. I'm only 15 hours in or so, but I've been playing that one, and I put that on the list. I just kind of started it a couple of weeks ago because it's hooked me, man. I've been looking forward to it, and that's when I know that it's a good game for me.
Yeah. I downloaded it as well, so I can't wait to get jumped into it.
Yeah, you'll like it. So. It's fun. Takes a little while to get used to the controls, but and it's not that they're hard to get used to, but it's just that there's so many different things that it can do.
So my number 2 is Destiny 1.
Yeah, I played a lot of that.
And I put it here because I played a lot of it, and I really enjoyed it once they brought all the raids up to current level. Because I really loved the Vault of Glass raid. I really loved Crota raid. Those were my 2 favorite raids. I understand that Crota raid was short, and people call it like basically it's a long strike. I don't care. I know people that spent hours and hours on it playing it, but it was so much fun. It was all blast. And the fact that, you know, during that one raid, when they brought it up to level, they changed the bridge encounter where you eventually everybody gets swords and it's just whack-a-mole. That was so much fun doing that with the clan and playing that back through with our clan mates. It was just a lot of fun playing that game. And just because I spent so much time on it, I really enjoyed it. It's a lot. Destiny 1 was so much fun. It really was. Rise of Iron was a great addition. Yeah, I didn't beat the Wrath of Machine on Prestige or Hard mode, but it was a lot of fun. I had a blast playing it. I got all my characters to 400 light level and just really enjoyed it. All the mechanics, a great game. Just fantastic. That's I don't want to beat a dead horse. We've talked about Destiny way too much, but that's definitely, that's my number 2.
Yeah, it was fun after all the expansions were out. The Taken King expansion came out. And as I said before, if you can get it cheap, you can probably get it for $30-$40 now, the whole thing. No,
you can get it. You can get the whole collection for $3. You go buy Destiny 1 the collection. I've seen it in the used bins for $3.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's the entire game. I don't think it has. You got to download. Well, you still have to download.
Still. Yeah, you can't buy it without downloading it. But it comes with the. You
have to pay. I'm pretty sure because what I'll say is when you see the Destiny vanilla game for sale, but then you'll see a Destiny Taken King, and they'll be the same price in a used bin at GameStop, and it's really because all it is the base game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the collection is only the base game because you're going to have. I mean, whatever. I don't know for that for a fact. If you can get it cheap,
like
get it, man.
I saw the collection. Like I said, I saw the collection for it's going for dirt cheap because technically.
Was it new? It wasn't new.
No, it was new. It was a used copy. I don't know how much a new copy goes for if they still even have new copies. You can still find a new copy.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the gamers out there that love the PvP. They do PvP matches and competitions in D1 still to this day. They don't do it in D2, 1, because they can't make private matches, and 2, because it's just not as dynamic as D1's PvP. So if you like PvP, go pick up Destiny 1, give it a run through. Yeah, you're not going to find a ton of people to play with, but it's still a great game. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, oh man, it's just it's the reason we just blast Destiny 2. I mean, it's not the main reason, but it's just a game like Destiny 1, which had its many problems, primarily story, and then you could tell it started to become a downfall, which we thought they fixed in the Taken King. And the Rise of Iron was an okay one. I mean, it was good. It didn't really add anything besides just the story. It added some new stuff. It added some good stuff. New what was it, the slot for the relic or whatever.
Yeah, the relic. You got the relic, so you could have special abilities at that point.
Yeah, that was good. And so we thought they were going to pick up where they left off, and they didn't. Oh man, they killed it. They killed Destiny 2.
They basically picked up where they left off on Destiny 1 vanilla. It's just kind of like they did from there, and it's just sad that they.
It's very sad. They could have had a great thing.
And they're trying to make it better, but everything's hidden behind Eververse now.
They're not trying to make it better, man. They're really not. I mean that in all honesty. I don't think they are at all. They're trying to get you to pay for whatever they really are.
I mean, because
that's all they care about.
The dawning, that entire thing right now is all basically mainly behind a paywall. There's some people that say you can get all of it without doing it, but no,
it's all centered around Eververse. Yeah. It's not centered around and that's the pay real money version.
Exactly.
But anyway, we beat that down. Every podcast will beat it down until Destiny 2 is destroyed. Then we'll stop.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I got a big number 1, man. Do you want to do your number? How big is your number 1? Mine's a 2017 game.
Mine is not a 2017 game. Like I said,
you go first.
So what I'll do is, just to give you a quick recap, I'm going to read my 10 through 2. Just read the list real quick so you know what I did. So number 10 was Destiny 2. Number 9 was Fez. Number 8 was Assassin's Creed Origins. Number 7 was Borderlands 2. Number 6 was Final Fantasy 15. Number 5 was Battlefront 2. Number 4 was Shadows of Mordor. Number 3 was Don't Starve. And number 2 was Destiny 1. My number 1 game that I loved to play was Final Fantasy X. And
awesome.
I put it up there because it is by far one of my favorite Final Fantasies. I loved going in and collecting all the special weapons and everything like that. I love the fact that they did a remastered version and put it on the PS4. It looks great. It's a lot of fun, and it's just so much nostalgia. And since, we are a podcast that does modern and retro games, for me, this had to be number one. Just because, I did play it this year, and it did come out, 2015, I think, that they re-released the Final Fantasy, something like that.
Maybe even before that.
Maybe even before then. I don't remember when they re-released the Final Fantasy X, 10-2 collection for PS4, but it's just a blast. It was so much fun. I have so many great memories of this game, and anytime I spin it up, those memories come just rushing right back. So, fantastic game. I'm not going to go in details of it because there's just no need to. It's that wonderful of a game, and for my nostalgia factor, my fun factor, the fact that I can pick it up and play it over and over again, it's my top game of what I played in 2017.
Yeah, I have mastered that game on PS2, and I played some of X2 on PS2, which I really liked, and that comes with this one. Mm-hmm. It's X and X2, which is great. I want to platinum it so bad, again, just for the kind of feel like I honored the game, and we've talked about this. The big holdup is the ultimate weapons.
Oh, gosh,
and so they're all pretty easy to get except for one stupid, tedious Lulu, where you have to dodge 200 lightning bolts. If you get hit by one, you got to start all over. And there used to be a little spot on PlayStation 2 where you could time it. You knew exactly when it's going to strike, so you just kind of moved up, jumped back. You moved up, dodged, moved up, dodged, moved up, dodged. And I don't know if they carried it over. If they didn't carry it over, I'm not doing it.
I'm not sure.
To the PlayStation 4 one.
I didn't get that far, so.
But you go, well, whatever. I'm still going to enjoy it and not get the ultimate. I just won't get the ultimate weapons. But then you get that far in the game, and then you see the ultimate weapons online or something. You're like, oh, they're so awesome, though. I got to go do it. And they are. And that's what holds me back from finishing that one and platinum that one. But it's a great game. It really is. And X2 was fun. I want to play that one. Get further, and that's kind of the job system type of deal as well. So, good number one, and good list. So I'll go ahead and recap mine. Number 10, a SteamWorld Dig Collection. 9, Mummy Demastered. 8, GTA 5. 7, Final Fantasy 12, Zodiac Age. 6, Neon Chrome. 5, Call of Duty World War II. 4, Fallout 4. 3, Doom. 2, Metal Gear Solid 5. And number 1, it's no surprise, Game of the Year, Breath of the Wild. That's my big one, man. And, dude, I got a Wii U. I got it for the Wii U. It just comes out on the Switch as well. That was the big Switch seller. But it was originally made for the Wii U, and they decided to hold off and release it with the Switch. So I bought it on the Wii U. Gamepad is not used, so they don't want it to have any advantage over the Switch. But, man, what a game is that. Well-earned Game of the Year 2017.
Yep.
It is a phenomenal game. The graphics are awesome. All the different things you can do. I mean, it is. I mean, what can you even say? It's open world completely. Anywhere you can see, you can go. And there's hidden shrines all over. You're going to get something good. You get stuff to make, potions or new weapons. The weapons break. It took a little bit of a while to get used to it, but it is a Zelda open world. I mean, they wanted to go back to their roots for Zelda 1. Like it was an open world. And did they ever? Nintendo is the king of video games. Fun factor. Everybody wants them to succeed. And dude, they killed it with Breath of the Wild. If you are a gamer, you are missing out on life if you have on gaming for sure. If you do not play Breath of the Wild, I won't say that about any other game. But this game is phenomenal. And I blow it up so big that. Man, it ain't that good, but man, it is. It really is. It's 10 out of 10. Everybody gave it 10 out of 10. It's the phenomenal game.
It's the Player's Choice Game of the Year for 2017. That tells you something right there, how good the game is. I haven't got to play it yet because, one, I do not own a Wii U. I don't have a Switch. Hopefully one day I'll have one of the two and play it. But from everybody that I know that's played it, a couple of our gaming buddies have it too. It looks fantastic. They all have great things to say about it. So
I bought it and I sat down and played it. I didn't stop, man. I didn't play another game until that game was just It's just phenomenal. It's just completely open. And Ganon's castle is massive. I mean, you can go in there whenever you want to and try to survive or whatever. But anyway, I don't want to get into the details of it too much. But look up some videos or something. If you got a Switch, you must have it. In fact, I don't own a Switch, but if I do get a Switch, I may end up buying that one for the Switch, even though I do have it for the Wii U. I don't know, just because if I want to play it again. They have downloadable content for it. I hadn't looked into it to see what it is. Are they going to, if they even have released any of it yet? I don't know. It really is a masterpiece for a game. So cool. There you go. There's our, there you have it, the top 10 games that we both played the most of in 2017. I did not include Destiny on mine. I didn't play a whole lot of it. Definitely didn't include Destiny 2, except I played it less than 2 weeks. I really didn't include it, because I did play Battlefront 2 for less than 2 weeks, so I didn't really include it. With the exception of the Mummy Demastered and Neon Chrome, I just put so much time into them, and SteamWorld Dig. I finished those games. That's why I had to stop, because I'd already completed them.
Well, what's impressive about this is, we both made our lists separately. We didn't tell each other our list until just now. We both just heard our top 10 for the first time from each other, and neither one of us had a copy game.
That's true.
We had all different games. And this shows you the diversity of games that we both play. Play indies, we play new games, we play old games. Some of them aren't that old, but you do have some on there that that go back and bring nostalgia up. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed hearing us talk about our top 10 games we've played for this year. Go on our Facebook, hit us up. Tell us some of the favorite games you played this year on our Facebook page. You can hit us on any of those posts and start chatting us up, and we'll chat you up. Hit us on Twitter and say it on Twitter as well. I think it might be a good idea. We might post both of our top 10 games played for this year from each one of us on our Facebook and our Twitter. So look for those.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
Yeah, look for those.
I'll put it in there, and then put it in there when I post this podcast, and would ask just if anybody, whatever their number one game is or whatever. Because I'm interested to see, there's a lot I've missed. I like to go on, hopefully you guys find some hidden gems, like we said, because I like to go on like Metal Jesus Rocks or any of these types of fun little games like that, and the different YouTube, the hidden gems, and just find these fun games like the indie games, and they're a lot of fun. They're cheap, and so hopefully you guys can get that as well. But share our experiences, share your number one game. Hopefully somebody else will jump in and be able to find it,
Yeah.
So, cool. Also, get us on Twitter, HolliwoodKole, HolliwoodKole, Hollywood Cole on Twitter. And what else do I got? What do we got on Facebook?
We've got the H&K Gaming Experience on Facebook.
Video Game Experience.
Yeah. So we've got that on Facebook. We got our Twitter, that's H&K Video Game Experience as well. And we've got, I've got my Twitter, which is KLEERFYRE. If you hit up either one of us, you can follow us back to H&K Video Game Experience as well. We've got the podcast as well. It's on Podbean, but you can also find it in Google Play or in iTunes as well. So
there's something kind of weird with iTunes and Google Play, I think. I have to follow the link to get to Google Play on Facebook. I don't know. I can't just type it in, but I just don't know how to work it on Android.
I tried to pull it up too, and it didn't come up, so I'll have to do a little digging for that.
And if you put retro games in, you only get like 4 podcasts. They don't really do a good job like iTunes. But if you go to iTunes and you have to type it all the way in, the space H and then the ampersand for and K space video space game space experience, and it will not pop up until you type all that in and push enter, and then it'll pop up. So that's how you find it on iTunes. But I do recommend the Podbean app. That's what Kleer's talking about. That's what
easier.
That's what I primarily. It's way easier. You can just click it from the Facebook page and then download. It's But anyway, cool. That's all I got, man. I think it was a good time. 2017 year for games.
Yeah, it's great games.
A lot of new games, but perfect amount of gaming, I think, man. I don't get to play near as much as I want, but I do when I cherish the time that I do.
Exactly.
And some good games out there that you can just turn on and off without having to sit there and dedicate 60 hours like we used to.
Yep.
Have to do, seems like. or these old Final Fantasies and RPGs and whatnot.
Well, guys, I know this podcast is coming out in the early days of 2018, but this is our last podcast for 2017. I hope y'all have all enjoyed what you've heard so far from us here at H&K, and look for us for more exciting things to happen in 2018. First of all, we've got the giveaway going on that started up, and make sure you follow us on Facebook to get all the information and all the details on it. We mentioned it earlier in the podcast, so check that out. And then just follow us. We're going to be doing more things. We've got other things on the horizon. So check us out and follow us and keep up to date with us. And thanks for following us in 2017 and giving us a good start to this podcast. And let's make it bigger in 2018, guys.
Alrighty. Later.